My mother worked at the neonatal intensive care unit, so when my brother and I were born 3 months early, she knew what to expect. And when we were both diagnosed with cerebral palsy, her and my dad knew we could still have a great childhood. Growing up, I did have lots of appointments and medical procedures, but I went to a regular school and managed to graduate with my class. From a young age, my parents knew I was the type of person who could advocate for myself, and I participated in everything I could. Eventually, our whole family became advocates for people with disabilities, working hard to change people's assumptions and decrease barriers. Even though I had always advocated for myself, things were difficult as I moved into adulthood. I moved out on my own, hired my own caregivers, and eventually received a technical writing certificate. Then COVID-19 happened. My brothers lived at home and my sister lived by herself. So, with the lockdown rules, they could all be together except for me. So, I stopped going to my parents' house. At the grocery store, it was hard to ask people for help because everyone wanted to keep their distance. I couldn't easily put on a mask, and I constantly had to justify why I wasn't wearing one. Sometimes people would even hand me a mask, but I couldn't put it on. Eventually, I stopped going to the grocery store. At the coffee shop, there were barricades everywhere to keep people at a distance. The plastic screen made it impossible for the cashier to hear me. They had chairs in front of the counter so I could not reach the terminal. Eventually, I stopped going to the coffee shop. I had tried my whole life to be an active and contributing member of society and felt pushed out of everything. But isolation and loneliness intensified the anxiety and depression that I had struggled with since high school. Then, one morning, I got a phone call. I felt a glimmer of hope when the voice on the other end said I was eligible for the vaccine and they could come to me. I was excited to have me and those close to me vaccinated so I could get back to a somewhat normal life. Today, with the vaccine passport, I feel comfortable and confident going out in public again. People are more willing to help me, and I've even noticed less people asking me about wearing a mask. It feels like people are less afraid. It feels like there are less barriers. Many people like me and my family have worked so hard to decrease barriers for those with disabilities. And I think it is important not to throw away all the hard work when the next crisis hits.